sunshine down. I feel the 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 sunshine down.
This isn't just Friday night under the lights. It's every early morning, every rep, every ounce of sweat that built this team. We don't play for stats. We don't play for hype. We play for the man beside us, for the name on our chest, for the tradition we carry every time we step on this field. Behind us, a school, a city, a family. In front of us, 100 yards of purpose. Tonight, we don't just show up. We take over. No fear, no doubt, just fire in our hearts and purple in our blood. We are Calvary, and this is our time.
Welcome into the Week 12 edition of the Calvary Coaches Show, live from Trailer Park Pizza Party on Habersham Street with the head football coach of the Calvary Day Cavaliers, Jason Cameron. I am Jeffrey Roberts. The Cavaliers improved to 8-1 overall with a 48-8 win on the road in Garden City against the Rebels. Cavalry putting up 40-plus points again. That's a good offensive outing, Coach. Just first thoughts from another big win.
Yeah, I played a good football game. It was a little bit of a different routine for us. It was Groves' senior night and homecoming. So, being off the field really, really early, a lot of time in the locker room. I was proud of the way our guys came up and we started off fast and kind of kept our foot on the gas all game.
At times you have to grab on to any bit of adversity to help propel you push forward. That routine, the way your guys needed to change, what did you see out of them before the game even started?
Well, it's a good group. You know what I'm saying? I think we did the best we could of getting them still warmed up and keeping to our, you want to try as a coach to keep you to your normal routine as much as possible. But, we were off the field early, but we were able to get back on and kind of do everything our normal pregame. It's just a little bit of time frame. And I think that we responded pretty well.
A man who was in routine, James Mobley, under center, 9 of 12, 210 yards, and 2 touchdowns for him. He is really coming to his own the last several weeks. He's always been consistent, but it seems like the way he sees the field right now is what you want to see out of your quarterback.
Super accurate. He's been like that, these last 2 years since he's been the starter. You have other coaches talk pregame and just talks about his accuracy, especially on the deep ball. He throws such an accurate deep ball, and it's been showing the last few weeks. And he's always going to throw for a really, really high percentage, like I said, because of his accuracy and because the way our receivers get open.
459 total yards for the Cavaliers against Groves, and 6 rushers had double digits in yardage gain, 4 of those with 30-plus yards. You see numbers like that, and you see a lot of the roster because Calvary, being in the region that they are in, you were able to spread the roster a little bit more.
Yeah.
That really bodes well from a program-wide standpoint. You saw a lot of guys on Friday that you like to see.
Definitely, I think that's empowering to our young kids. You come to Calvary and you have a chance to play. And here's my thing too. It's we have a few guys that we have 1, 2, 3 freshmen that they're right on the cusp of getting meaningful reps on Friday. This is not just when you're up by a lot of points. I know some programs don't believe in that. I do. I said I'm going to play the best guys. Practice for us matters. We evaluate every practice. We film every practice. So if you're a young kid and you come and you bust your butt, we got 3 of them on there right now on kickoff. I think that's a huge reward because we take special teams really, really seriously. And then the next step is those meaningful reps on Friday. We started Josh Rogers, a true freshman, at the entire game at outside linebacker, played a great game. He has a big cast on his hand. He's playing with a broken hand on top of that. So, like I said, you come to Calvary, you work hard, you execute, you have a chance to play no matter what grade you're in.
On the defensive side of the football, Coach Cameron, your guys played very well. You had 8 tackles for loss as a team. It's not like a few guys are doing that. 6 players had at least 1 TFO. Before we get to the defense, the way they played against Groves, Coach Myros as the defensive coordinator, what are you seeing from him that is preparing his guy? I know Coach Chumley's a big part of that as well. Your defensive staff preparing your team, what are they doing right now this time of year?
We're just trying to kind of put it all together. You don't want to have a ton of things and just be okay at all of them. You want to kind of now, take your bucket and really kind of make it small and say, what are we really, really, really good at? Continue to improve on that. And, one thing, like you said, we want to be disruptive. We want to get tackles for loss. We want to pressure the passer. One thing that we got to improve on is our secondary play, and we really put a lot of focus on that this week. We have our hands full with Liberty County, which we'll get to with their receivers and their quarterback play. But, like I said, we want to just continue to perfect what we've been doing all season, and I think Coach Myros and the defensive staff's doing a great job with it.
Some of the names on the defensive side of the football you're used to: a Jeffrey McCormick, a Jay Varner, and Elisha Williams, who came back after injury. All 3 of them had 1 sack against Groves. We discuss a lot, Coach, about the way you guys game plan and the way that you maybe write a scheme to fit your players. As a coach, I'm sure you've had rosters where you do that, and at times you're not sure if the execution can be there. What about your roster right now that when you create a game plan, gives you that full confidence, and almost when they don't do it, you're disappointed? And those are some names that do that.
Yeah, they perform nightly, and I think that our staff is doing the best job that I've been a part of getting the most out of the guys that we got. There's minus, I think, maybe Emerson and Brexton, there's no 5-stars running around here. We got a bunch of role players that love playing for each other, and we got future college players on our roster, there's no doubt. But, like I said, I just think we're as a staff, we're doing the best of putting our guys in positions to be successful. And listen, the stats show it. The performances on Friday show it. And what I like is it's like you said, it's a different guy most nights. So again, when you're game planning for us, is you can't just key in on 1 or 2 guys. There's a bunch of guys that are going to go and be productive.
Coach, it feels like fall. We're at the end of October, the final game on the last day of October of the regular season on Friday. It just feels good to be out on the football field. How much are you enjoying this? How much are you trying to, while hopefully pushing along your guys to be playoff ready, but just taking it in maybe on a crisp Wednesday morning, just standing there and watch the way they work?
It's awesome. I said it a lot of times on this show. When you coach a group like this, it makes it a lot of fun. I don't have to do a lot of motivating throughout practice or even a Wednesday morning practice hoping that everyone shows up. It never crosses my mind that we're going to be missing a key guy. It just doesn't. They show up. they're prepared, they're ready to practice, and we go after it. It's a fun group. It's a really, really fun group. I think we have set the tone as a coaching staff early with building our culture, and now we got some guys, we'll talk to Davis in a minute, that's really run with it, led it, and they genuinely enjoy coming every day to practice. It's a lot of fun. It makes my job a whole lot easier.
Yeah. Well, the Cavaliers, through 9 games, they are 8-1 overall, second place in the region at 7-1 with 1 game to play in the regular season. This Halloween week edition of the Calvary Coaches Show rolls on after the break. Junior linebacker Davis Witherington joins us next. Welcome back to the Calvary Coaches Show. We are live from Trailer Park Pizza Party on Habersham Street. Our first guest of this afternoon, he's a junior linebacker for the Cavaliers, Davis Witherington. Davis, a multi-sport athlete for the Cavaliers. Just talk football. Where did it start for you? I know you said your dad was your coach, but what drew you in to want to play the sport?
So I started playing when I was 6. I played for the Crusaders, and Jeremy Merklinger was over all of it, but my dad was the main head coach for my age, and me and a few of my buddies all played together. And I actually went to Savannah Christian at the time, which is pretty funny because they're our rival now. But I decided to come to Calvary after playing football with some of my really good buddies now. So that's kind of where it started for me.
You're a lacrosse player too for the Cavs. That's an up-and-coming sport. When did that start for you?
So I actually, funny story, one of the kids who is actually going to Notre Dame for lacrosse, he was at Calvary. His dad was the AD, Chad Griffin. He asked me to play when I was about 9, and I played a pickup game. And after that, I really liked it, but there wasn't really a team for me to play for. So when I was in 7th grade, Calvary made a team, and I always played baseball too. I was a football, basketball, and baseball guy. But I got injured playing baseball, and when I did, I decided to kind of like lock in on lacrosse. And 8th grade year was my first year not playing baseball, and I just really loved lacrosse and being able to play it.
Yeah, well, Coach Cameron, we'll go over to you now. He says that a quarterback, linebacker kind of hybrid growing up, but when he gets here, you guys say defensively, that's where you need you, that's where we want you. What have you seen from him in his kind of tenacity to grow within that role?
Super smart football player. He transitioned to that linebacker position, was still our backup quarterback. God forbid anything happened to James, and he got the reps in practice to be prepared for that. But, a linebacker, he was actually the quarterback of the defense. He was always in the right position. You watch him in practice, he would line guys up all the time. And he was one of those guys that was able to kind of, anticipate, think a play ahead, and film junkie. He was always with Coach Myro, so kind of studying film and things like that. So he became the quarterback of our defense, and really, played a position that we were kind of unsure how will he do. We're going to try it out, and he kind of ran with it and became a starter and never got off the field. Him and KB have become not just great on the field together, they became really, really good friends, and you see the way that they play together. They're like on a string out there, and Davis is always a physical kid. I remember the first time, I got here and he kind of came in at the end of the game, and, we ran him and he just ran this kid's face over. I was like, whoa, I kind of wasn't expecting that. And I'm like, this kid's a physical kid. And, he shows it on the lacrosse field. I love watching them go play. It kind of gives you a different insight on, man, they're athletic, they're physical, they could run. So, Davis has been great for our defense. He's been great for our program overall because he really took a leadership role and really matured this year compared to where he was as a sophomore. And he was, like I said, he was a true leader for our team.
A big jump in the offseason, Coach. He says that there was some conversations of whether football was it. You were in those conversations.
Absolutely.
What did you see in him when he came to you and said, Coach, I'm at this impasse? And how important are those conversations to have with these young men?
It's really important. Football is a hard sport. Like I'm a big believer. Like if your toes out the door, you're out. You know what I'm trying to say? You could kind of, and I was a basketball player, you know what I'm saying? But like basketball, you're inside, you're kind of shooting. Like football stinks, man. It's a marathon. You're in this equipment in 1,000-degree heat. Like, so if you're not all in, kind of like you're out. So him and I, we got a great relationship. We built a really, really strong relationship early. So we just had intentional conversations. I was never going to force him to play. All the thing I told him was I thought that he would regret it, and I knew that we were a better team if he played.
Well, there's also a wrench in you coming back this year, Davis. It sounds like you tore your labrum early in the season, and that's an injury that has been battling you this entire season. You know that at this point now you got to have surgery. Can you kind of tell the adversity you've had to fight through this season? That just proves, I know Coach Cameron's going to piggyback off of the brotherhood and how much you've meant to this team.
So for me, I tore my labrum the actual second day of actual padded practice. And I didn't know what it was at the time. I didn't say anything to the trainer because I was like, oh, I just have a stinger. I'll be okay tomorrow. And it kind of kept hurting, so I said something, and she told me she thought it was a torn labrum, and I got the MRI, and it came back, and it was. So at the time, they said, you are going to be in a lot of pain. They said you can keep playing if you want to and if you can bear the pain. But you should not be able to throw a football because of how bad it hurts. But I've been able to push through that, and I've been able to throw all season. For me, it hurts from time to time, but I've started to get like really bad recurrent stingers recently. So I went to the doctor this past week, and they told me the inflammation from my shoulder has started to spread to my neck a little bit. And he wants to make sure I don't injure my neck, and the best thing to do for that is rest. So my parents and the coaches and us discussed it over the weekend and Monday, and we decided that I'm going to go ahead and go forward with the surgery. It's scheduled for Monday, so we'll see how it goes.
Well, you know that Calvary, the community's praying for you, but
Yes,
for
sir.
Coach Cameron, a story like that, you don't see kids do that very often. To know that what the end result is after tearing something.
Yep.
He still goes out there and performs at a high level through 9 games.
Definitely. It's our whole program. I said this to him today. It was our whole program is built on servant leadership, sacrifice, and brotherhood, and just loving the person next to you. And he did that with his body. I was talking to Jalen Hicks today, and he didn't know that Davis was getting kind of the surgery, and I don't even know if Jalen really knew when it got hurt. And when I told him to, it's like you saw his eyes, like wow, like I can't believe he did that. You know what I'm saying? So his teammates think the world of him. He sacrificed a lot for us. I remember him when it first happened, him and I sitting there talking, and I said, like, God's going to tell you what you should do. Think about it, pray about it, talk to your parents, and regardless, I want you to make the best decision for you. That's exactly what I told him. I said, even though it would be a huge loss for us, he prayed about it. He talked with his parents. He got a great support staff at home, and and he stuck it out as long as he can. But it's definitely time, and we're super appreciative of what he's done for us and for this program.
Davis, I got to ask, do the Thursday linebacker dinners stop? For those who don't know, Davis and his family host dinner on Thursdays for some of the defense. You say a lot of the linebackers come. I know that's why, and a big part as to why you guys are so close. Talk about those dinners. What does that do for this team and this brotherhood?
So for me, we love meeting together. They ask me every week on Monday, are we coming to your house this week? And I'm always like, yeah, of course. So we love getting together. My dad cooks us up a meal. It's great every time. We all enjoy it. We're definitely going to keep doing it. I think it's going to help me kind of feel connected still, because it's going to be tough for me to be on the sidelines and not playing. But I'm going to be there for everything. I'm going to help the coaches and everything I can and just support my teammates. And I feel like having that dinner and being able to grow closer to them even when I'm hurt is going to help us.
But there's a timeline too, because lacrosse season is just into the new year. You said that hopefully 3 to 3.5 months is what they're telling me timetable. That puts you back ready for game 1 of lacrosse season.
Yeah, it does. Before we were talking about getting in December and waiting all season, and I would have been back. We were hoping for the first region game on March 27th, but I'm really excited because I do think I got the best of football. I got all the regular season. I got to enjoy all the time with my teammates, and I still do, but I also get to play lacrosse. So.
Davis, I got one more for you. You played through an injury that you knew was going to end in surgery, and I think you said that, it's made you learn to love the game in a unique way because you were in a tough spot with the game of football less than a year ago. How excited are you to get back on this roster, especially as a senior come next year?
I can't wait. I've never really been completely locked in on football like I was this year. I'm really excited to be able to put in the work in the off season and just be able to grow in my leadership, grow in stature, grow relationships with all of my teammates, and I'm really excited to get back with them, work hard next year, and go win a state championship.
All right. Appreciate the time, Davis. Thanks for joining the Coaches Show.
Yes, sir.
All right. The Coaches Show rolls on after the break. New girls basketball head coach Landon Sarazine joins us next.
Bluffton Fence and Gutter is a proud partner of Calvary Day Athletics.
Up next on the Calvary Coaches Show, first-year girls basketball head coach Landon Sarazine joins us now. He comes up from the coastal Georgia region to join the Cavaliers. Coach, thank you so much for being here. How has your first school year with the Cavaliers gone?
It's been awesome. Calvary has been such a welcoming environment for my family and I. I've got 2 young ones and a wife. We've been married for 5 years, and there's no better feeling than knowing that your kids are 200 feet away from you and your wife's right there as well. So it's great walking from class, lunch, and just seeing all those smiling faces.
I will say now your kid does recognize me, so when I walk by the playground, he comes up to it like it's a little jail cell and has some fun with it. But your work in education, is that what you studied? Because you also played some college basketball. We'll get into it. Is that what you knew you wanted to get into, or how did you end up working in a school?
Yeah, so I had no intentions going into college. I actually wanted to be a physician's assistant, and it turns out chemistry is not for me at all. And chemistry is a fundamental aspect of, going to medical school. So I kind of just went and reevaluated, talked to my advisor, and they told me that history, literature, and English was my best subjects. So I'd sit there and I look at everything, and it sounds like I'm going to be in education. I find a lot of interest in literature, and I just did a lot of research on our education system because that's what intrigued me. And now I'm finishing my master's degree in higher education, and there's no telling where it'll take us. We'll probably go back to school some more.
Well, you did play some college basketball. Where'd you go? What was your experience in the sport like when you were a little bit younger?
Yeah, so my dad was a coach, so I've been around basketball since as long as I can remember. And it's honestly given me that perspective of a coach my entire life. My teammates growing up, even in college, were not a fan of everything Landon had to say at times because it was coming from a coaching perspective. But throughout high school, I had a pretty solid career. I was All-State a couple of times. I was a member of a team that made it to the state championship my junior year. So I had some great experiences. And in college, we were very fortunate to turn the program around completely. My freshman year, we won 4 games, and the next year we broke the school record and won 17. And then that following year, we took the next step and made it to the conference championship. So I was very fortunate to have experiences of being in the down and making it upward as well. So I think it's really prepared me for just the course that's ahead, whether it's this year, next year, and years to follow.
Those experiences, being on the good and the bad end, can be so important. How do you think that shaped you as a coach and educator, knowing that good things come, bad thing comes, you just have to keep pushing through?
Yeah, I think it really just prepares you for life. Life is going to have challenges. There's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be times where you think that there's absolutely no way we can turn this around. But if you just show up every day, ready to work with the right positive attitude, the power of positivity can go a long way. It really can. If you tell yourself you can't, it will never happen. But if there's just a mustard seed of faith, anything can happen. Anything can happen. So I think just being willing to persevere through the challenges every single day will put you on the right path. We may not get there today. We may not get there tomorrow. It may be a year from now, but we'll get there.
I'm fired up and ready to go shoot a basketball. To the X's and O's of basketball, what does the process look like as you got into the system this summer and you get to know your students? The last few months as you get toward November when it really ramps up, how have you prepared for year one as head coach of the girls basketball team?
So the first thing is it's going to start with defense. No matter what kind of pieces you have, defense is never going to change. We have to be what I like to think is bloodthirsty for the basketball. We've got to get after it. We should have pride, and we should want to possess that basketball. We should take pride in stopping the other team from scoring the ball and then going right back down and scoring the basketball. That's one thing I love about this game. Once you score on me, you still gotta play the other side of the ball. There's both sides that you have to play. So, like I said, I think it really shows a lot of parallels with life and just navigating these challenges and understanding that you got to be ready and you've got to be armed and ready to go. So
this time of year, what does it look like? Is it tryouts? Are you throwing the roster together? Where is the team currently in today?
Yeah, so the roster was actually just finalized today. So really excited to go ahead and see how these pieces mold together. So like I said, defensively, we did a lot of stuff this summer because those fundamentals will never change. But as a coach, you have to be aware of your tools and your pieces. You can't be using a screwdriver to hammer a nail. You have to understand what you have. So I think that's where we're at now, is just building those pieces and finding that continuity offensively.
Coaches will always strive for perfection, but what would make for a successful year for Coach Sarazine in year one?
I think as long as we can improve every day, we'll get everything that we're looking for. If we can find a way to just get better every day, whether that's screening, rebounding, even as simple as communicating, all of these things are fundamental aspects of winning basketball.
Well, the first game days for both the boys and girls basketball teams for Calvary, November 21st, just a few weeks away. Coach, appreciate you taking the time, and good luck this season. We'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely.
When we come back, Coach Cameron and I, we look forward to Liberty County, a Halloween night of football this Friday.